From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello and welcome to another scintillating edition of the Wow Report, where we count down the top 10 things of the week that made us go
wow.
That's right. That's Tom Campbell, our Chief Creative Officer, joined by the inimitable James St. James.
Woo!
Let's do it. Let's just count down. Let's start at the number we always start at, which I think would be number 10.
Number 10.
You might be hearing a lot about this because James and I attended the 3D version of Wicked.
I have been changed for good.
What are you holding up, Tom?
This is from the Wicked paraphernalia. This is the
It's the Grimmery. Wow, so Tom, you didn't even. I didn't see that last night. What is that?
I forgot that I had it. Anyway, Wicked. I've seen the first one in the theater only at least 5 times. I lost track. I love it. I love it. I love it. Which only left me vulnerable to be let down by the sequel.
Yes. Okay. Because that is what we've been told, that the Act 2 has always had some problems, but that they've changed it. They've moved it around. They've changed it a little bit.
They have. And I have to say, in a musical theater on the stage of a musical, the first act is always bloated. It always has everything. And then they bring you back and they sort of tie things up. That's what happens with this. This is such, for Wicked fans, it's such a necessary installment. You have to see it. And there's just, I don't even want to use, I have nothing negative to say, but there are 2 new songs. I think Cynthia Erivo has a song called There's No Place Like Home, and Ariana has a song called Girl in the Bubble that are not in the play, that are new.
I didn't even realize that as I was watching it. I was thinking I don't know this song, but those are new.
They stuck out to me. They fit. They're, I need more time to ruminate with them.
Well, especially because There's No Place Like Home. You're like, why? That's what the girl sings in the first movie.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, yeah. James and I, spoiler, were weeping like, as my friend Greg said, like teenage girls.
And every few minutes we'd be like, oh.
Great, James, I didn't have my hand grabbed that much during a movie since like high school. It was like we were.
This is so great to hear because I've read a lot of the reviews. I haven't seen it, and it's been very meh. I thought, it's been a bit of a negative.
And I think Tom just sort of hit on it. That the problem with Wicked is that where do you go from the end of Act 1, where it's just that crowd cheering, rousing, on your feet, defying gravity, and then no matter what, you're going to be let down by that. I mean, if they could have
not let down, because there are surprises in the second act. For people who are unaware, which I will not spoil, that are incredibly satisfying and reshape your vision of the Wizard of Oz, of Wicked. It's just, it takes a little, they luxuriated in them. And you've heard it from other people, but if Ariana Grande does not win Best Supporting Actress, she is the lead of this installment. Her character goes through an arc. She is pitch perfect, singing, acting, her look, the way she grabs her stomach in pain constantly, her tiny little waist.
I want J-Lo to get that nomination, and I want J-Lo to win for Kiss of the Spider-Woman, which none of you have seen. But when you see, you will understand that these 2 powerhouses are up against each other.
But is J-Lo going to be leading or supporting? Because Ariana is
no, she is supporting. She it's Tana Tia and Diego Rivera who are the leads.
All right, that's interesting. But and the other thing, and then James is going to talk about this. So at some point, Blake, tell us when we're going to number 9 because we're just going to keep talking about this for 2 segments.
More Wicked.
But what made it also incredibly special, and these things happen very rarely in life, in pop culture anymore. We saw it at the Grove in a preview night in 3D, and it was a magical evening. The crowd made it a magical evening. When I came there, the snow was the fake snow was going at the Grove. They've done the facade of the theater up in pink and green. It's fantastic. Giant letters, "You will be changed." There are standees throughout the
it looks like we're living in IA. I said to me the whole Grove looked like an IA installment. Yeah.
AI or IA?
AI. I'm very sorry.
I did get the impression from the Instagram, Tom, that it looked absolutely spectacular. I mean, the marketing budget, the spend on this must be vast. And because I'm just that person, one of the reviews I read was like, well, they've stretched, a Broadway show from 150 minutes into 4.5 hours. And they call it, "What if a huge gamble paid off and a massive bill somehow came due anyway?" Okay, let's move on to number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9. I am definitely putting this in my top 5 of the year. Okay, I had said last week that Kiss of the Spider Woman, Frankenstein, and Weapons were my 3 favorite, and then it goes Superman and this, which are tied. And it's that same. It is like Superman in that it's an on your feet, cheering, rousing. Everybody is happy. You're smiling. You're crying. You're laughing. It's all the emotions. Everything poured out in this one huge blockbuster. Now, having said that, there are 2 very different things from this movie from the book, which I had read in the early 90s. And it's interesting that in this movie, they don't lean into the fascism that's rising in Oz as much as it could have, as much as it did in the book. You see it twice. You see it very specifically twice when the Munchkins can't get out of Munchkinland without the papers, and how the animals are all leaving Oz in fear, right? But what happens in the movie that doesn't happen in the book as much is this is everything that all the plot points are because of personal grievances that happen. Nessa and Bach, Nessa and Elphaba, Bach and Elphaba all have problems. Elphaba and Oz and Morrible have problems. Morrible and Glinda have problems with Fiyero. They're both vying for Fiero's heart, one who is responsible for the cyclone that brings Dorothy to town. And all of that is very different than the book, which is all about fascism and the rise of fascism, which could have been something that's very happening now in America, but you can tell that they were scared because they have to market to everybody. They have to market to red states. So they sort of leaned away from the fascism.
But they already made that decision in the play. They're not.
Exactly. But in 2025, it could have been a very pointed political statement, and they sort of lean away from that. Yeah.
And I want to just toss in a question, sort of thought, which is that doesn't fascism actually always arise from a personal grievance? That's actually how it kind of takes root as an ideology.
You have to have a straw man to blame everything on. But the way that they play it out shows it's more about the personal grievances, and there could have been another part 3 leaning into that. Now, the other thing that's very interesting in the book that they don't do here, in the movie, Dorothy is sort of like this annoyance. And at one point, Glinda even has this line where she throws her hands in the air and she's like, "It's always something with this girl." And in the book, Dorothy is this sort of unknown force of malevolence who drops into Oz, immediately takes the shoes from the Wicked Witch of the West, or Wicked Witch of the East. She kills the Wicked Witch of the East, and then she's sort of sweeping across Oz, and everybody is whispering, "Who is this person? Who, wherever she goes, she's rising a Tin Man to life. She's bringing a Scarecrow to life. She has a lion with her," and they're terrified of this presence that they don't understand. And first she sweeps into Oz with her army, and then they go and they sweep they sweep across Oz, and they go to the Wicked Witch of the West, and then they kill the Wicked Witch of the West. She must be the most powerful witch of all time, and they shiver from her, and they're scared of her, and they're terrified. And here you don't get that feeling of this weird force that drops out of the sky and is going to take over Oz. Is what they're sort of thinking, this powerful witch. Yes,
James, people are saying online, because they'll say anything, that will there be a Wicked 3? And I had no imagination, no piece of my brain could understand how they could stretch this out anymore. And now you have just come up with the plot line for Wicked 3, which is it's about Dorothy and her rise and her terror of
the reign of terror that Dorothy unleashes.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see that with Jenny Ortega as Dorothy. No, I don't know.
The idea of Dorothy as a force of this unknowable malevolence is sort of what they don't really show.
I want to put the button on this segment, which is to say everyone was dressed up in pink and green and looking beautiful. James looked spectacular in a powder blue ensemble of jacket that matched the new Glinda look. So James was the only fashion forward Aussian.
I knew whereof I dressed.
Tom, what did you wear?
I wore a green hoodie, and James got a great picture of me leaning in and whispering into a standee of Alphaba. I had a great time. I loved the event of it. I love being with James and my friend Greg, and I really recommend you guys see it and leave your expectations not low, but like don't expect the
don't listen to the negative reviews.
And if you don't know the musical, you're in. If you don't know the second half of the musical, you're in for a really, I think, a dynamic ride in terms of reveals.
Right.
Yeah, thank you again, Tom, for taking me. That was wonderful.
Anytime.
Okay, so number 8.
Number 8.
Oh gosh, like this is a mood killer. Leave it to me to bring the rain. So, I don't know how it's been possible the last few days to ignore the Epstein files. I mean, they just seem to keep on percolating up in more and more weird and bizarre and horrifying ways. But at James's suggestion, I thought, gosh, in the midst of all this, Virginia, how do you say the last name? Virginia Giuffre?
Giuffre, yeah.
Virginia Giuffre. She wrote a book. The book has been published posthumously because she died by suicide recently.
Did she, though? Did she? Yeah, I question that.
But interestingly, as I think everyone said, like, where is the book? And why aren't people talking about the book? So I went on and bought the book. And I'm not going to lie, it's a sobering read, but it is a powerful read. And I think an important read because you do have the sense of being right there, that you are getting an untampered with, authentic, unfiltered account. And it is really horrifying and also I with so many headlines, the Epstein files and the names in the Epstein files, I do feel that the victims have been somewhat put into the shade or sort of seconded versus front and forward. And I think if you read this book, you cannot escape it. What I didn't realize, 2 things. One is that her dad worked at Mar-a-Lago, and that's how she got the job at Mar-a-Lago. And it was while walking to work at Mar-a-Lago that she noticed someone was following her, and it was Ghislaine Maxwell in a limo. And that's how she got recruited. Right, exactly.
You've got to feel that the guilt that the father must have for, bringing his daughter into Mar-a-Lago, and then what happened, it just must be overwhelming that he just, can you imagine?
Yes, should be, right? But the very sad reality, I think, is that her father was the first person to molest her. And then he kind of loaned her out to his friend. And there's an incredibly powerful scene where she describes that her father and his friend were on the porch, and she came home, and the friend said, "Kneel, you kneel before me." And you think, oh God, I know what's coming. But actually he'd had a conversion experience, and instead of forgiving her, blasts her for being evil for what she did, and that she must repent for what she did.
Always there. It's the victim's fault. God damn it.
I mean, that's it. And I'm not going to, it's a really intense read, but it's also, there is some joy in it, because once she escapes Epstein, the way it all worked out is that after 2 years, Ghislaine and Epstein made this very bizarre proposal to her. They wanted her to have a baby for them. And she agreed on condition that they made good on the promise they'd made at the beginning, which was that they would train her to become a masseuse. Because that was how Epstein liked to be serviced, was under the guise of a masseuse on the table and what have you. So they sent her to Thailand to train as a masseuse. And it was there that she met the man who would become her husband. And she decided in that moment that she was not going to return to the States. And she went to Australia and married him. And they had kids. I'm not going to say that it's happy ever after, because obviously that's not what happened. And I think she just had a terrible... I just think that it's a story perhaps we're all familiar with, that, you know, abuse is something that you cannot just shrug off, and it tends to iterate, and you tend to be vulnerable, I suppose, to it. But I just wanted to say two more things. It is interesting how this whole story revolves around, I think, not whole story, but two photographs are sort of etched in all of our brains. One is the photo of her with Prince Andrew, which she... when she learned she was going to meet Prince Andrew, she was, in a fangirl sense, excited. And she ran out in London, got a Kodak Funsaver camera, and she handed it, I think, to Epstein. I think she handed it to Epstein and had him take the picture of her with Prince Andrew with Ghislaine in the background. I mean, thank goodness for that photo, because in a way, that is the incontrovertible proof. And then moving on from that, years later, she was in Australia. She had moved on with her life. She didn't want to have anything to do with it. She became aware of this investigation into Epstein. And the photograph that made her act was the shot of Epstein with Prince Andrew in Central Park, which is another iconic photo that I think we've all seen. And that's what led to her ultimately, you know, revealing her story. But it's a really, I'm sorry to bring it down. It's such a, you know, it is a very sad story, but it affirming in a way that even though she has passed away, that the book has been published, and I just wish more people were talking about it.
Well, it's a shame that I wish she had named more names in the book.
Yeah,
because those names are not going to come out under the current administration. We know that all we're going to get is Bill Clinton and some other Democrats. And that's good. Well, that's the whole list right there is what we're going to hear. So I wish she would have named bigger names in the book.
Lenora Claire on Facebook said that the Epstein survivors were going to release their own list.
Good.
Well, but what are you waiting for God's sakes? Do it. Don't tell me you're going to do something. Just do it, and then let's talk about it. I'm tired of this.
I think it is deducible from some of the when she talks about some of the people. It could be figured out who they are.
All right.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick break. I just want to let you know, though, the Drag Race, The Experience tickets are on sale now. This is opening in Chicago on Black Friday weekend. It is a fantastic immersion. You get to go in the workroom. You're on the stage. You can experience the Dragulator and see what you would look like in your drag queen glory without even having to put on a wig or makeup. It's easy peasy.
It's very IA. It's very IA, James. It's very IA.
IA is the way to go.
Wicked man, Tom Campbell.
Get your tickets at wowpresentsplus.com. Blake, do you have a question?
I do. In movie and film credits, ampersand and mean two different things. Do you know what it is?
What?
We'll have the answer right after the break here on the Wow Report.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
And welcome back to the Wow Report. There's a clue to the question, Blake.
Yes, I asked. In movie credits, there's a difference between ampersand and. What is it?
I don't even know this. Tom, what?
Ampersand means that you're partners. And like if you're writers, it's like Blake and I wrote it together like that. If Blake wrote the first draft and I was brought in to write the second draft and I qualified, then we get an and.
Right.
Oh.
How fascinating. How did you learn this? Is this from your editing class, Blake?
Well, no, I learned it on TikTok, of course.
TikTok.
Where we learn everything these days.
Or as James would say, talk tick.
Ampersand. Let's move on.
We are counting down the top 10 things of the week that made us go, wow. We've reached number 7.
Number 7.
On Sunday, I was invited last minute to go to the dedication of the unveiling of the AIDS monument in West Hollywood.
Oh, right.
And it's the monument itself exists in the West Hollywood Park. Remember where the pool was in the San Vicente side and the old park?
That pool. My mother used to go to that pool all the time.
Yeah, they've erected pillars that are kind of tapers of light that go up, and a bunch of the pillars are different words that express the emotions around the AIDS epidemic. There's also QR codes where you can pull up stories based on those emotions, and also there are some engraved stones and places to sit that have quotes.
So you said there was like a QR. Each spear has a QR code that you
not
can
each spear, but throughout the experience there are QR codes. I don't know how they're placed, but they tell things. I got there and thinking this would be great. It ended up being moved inside to the Pacific Design Center, which is the swankiest place on earth, by the way. We should be there every day for something.
Well, it's also where the glory holes are. All the glory holes.
All right, now, okay, that's not my segment. So, the minute I got there, I got seated. I was lucky to get very good seats. I thought, like, oh no, I'm gonna have to go walk down this road. Oh, it's gonna be a lot of trauma porn. And I got to tell you, it was what I needed. I know it's a downer, but we've lived through it. It was a beautifully programmed, and the idea of all these different, like, they sort of did one from each of the categories, if you will, and one featured like the audio and then some slides of a caretaker, of a nurse, and they talked about how from 81 to 95, literally, they could do nothing but make people comfortable. And it's just like whatever. Then there's another, and I'm sorry if this is so sad, but like they have a picture of a man who is holding a little baby who has AIDS, and he's a volunteer. They used to go and hold babies and give them time. And he said this baby was always on tubes its entire life, and he came for its first birthday, and for whatever reason this baby had a jolt of energy and was not any tubes, so he brought the baby to the roof. And the baby saw a plane go by, and he explained what a plane was. And he saw the flowers, and he had him touch the flowers, and he rubbed the rose petals against his cheeks. And he brought him back down. And 3 months later, the baby passed away, the guy says. And when he went to talk to the caretaker, she said that with the exception of when he came and went to the hospital, that was his only day outside. And it was this volunteer who did that. And there was just such examples of people being so brave. And the ACT UP movement they had, and then they would say at the end, like, are there any nurses here? And they would stand, and they would talk about ACT UP. Are there anybody who served ACT UP? And they would stand up. And they said, and I'm not trying to be dramatic, but they were like, are there anybody who was positive before 1995? Please stand up. Long-term survivors. I stood up because I'm one of them. I'm positive since 1990, and I'm not saying that for any effect. And in the past, I wouldn't say it because I was ashamed of it, and I thought I'd be discriminated, and then I didn't want to be pitied. And it's just like I am. And again, I'm not aggrandizing myself, but like I am a small, tiny granular of this story, of this history, and I'm a witness to it. They even said at one point, like, how many people here have protested? And I was never a radical fairy. I was never ACT UP, but like I was part of commitment. Like our lives revolved around raising money. The AIDS walk was political. Being out at work was political. Getting people to sign up for your AIDS walk. Working for Commit to Life. So it's just like it really brought things together. And I'm going to read 2 quotes. Again, I'm sorry if I'm bringing people down. And I recommend you go and experience it yourself. And this one broke me. This is from Elizabeth Glazer, who was Paul Michael Glazer from Starsky and Hutch's wife. Right. She contracted HIV AIDS from a blood transfusion and transferred it to her baby. She goes, my daughter lived 7 years, and in her last year, when she couldn't walk or talk, her wisdom shone through. She taught me to love when all I wanted to do was hate. She taught me to help others when all I wanted to do was help myself. She taught me to be brave when all I felt was fear. My daughter and I loved each other with simplicity. America, we can do the same. Mm-hmm. And it's just, there was the only, and it's not all sad because you're also reminded that when that we have the power. Like, people got together and they fought, and there was a lot of loss, but people came together and were better than themselves. It's like, because I knew you, I've been changed for good. I mean, it had that quality, and I couldn't help but think about that as I was listening to the song in Wicked. So,
and in this time, it feels like
that's what I'm saying. Yes,
right. And you don't have to apologize for bringing us down. This is something that makes us go wow. I mean, in every sense. And
was it a crowded event? Was it?
It was sort of the people that had auditioned. Yes, and there was overflow, and a lot of people went, and it was magical because we were inside because of the pouring rain, and when we left, it's right across the street, and it's like it was like the rain had let up. It was just a mist, and it felt like Hollywood because the streets had been wetted, and there was all this light
washed away. Yeah.
And then, do you remember Paul Monet, the writer, who was a very very strong voice? He has a quote saying, "Go without hate, but not without rage. Heal the world." And I think, and my friend Chris, who's very much alive, said when I was with him last year when the Trump stuff was happening and they're taking away trans rights, he goes, you know what? We've done this before. We're going to do it again. And I don't know that I have that same fire, but it reignites my fire to be of service, to be of help, to radicalize, and fill in where we need to fill in. So I hope I can do more than just talk about it. And actually,
I think you have, just by sharing a story. I mean,
right. So go see the AIDS monument at the West Hollywood Park off of San Vicente between Santa Monica and Melrose. It's really it's something.
All right, thank you. James, number 6.
Number 6.
Well, I'm gonna bring it back up to the superficial.
Good.
let's go back. I watched A Very Jonas Christmas on Hulu. Disney Plus.
We talked about this last week.
No, we did not. How dare you? You just think that I talk about the Jonas Brothers every single episode, and I don't. Okay, here we go. I'm going to talk about it because it was delightful. It just premiered this past week. It just premiered on Friday, so there was no way we could have talked about it before. Anyway, it premiered. It is absolutely delightful. Tom, they are this generation's Osmonds. They are just innocuous, sweet-natured, a lot of fun, goofy. It was frothy. The plot was just light. It was sort of like Planes, Trains, and Automobile light. They're trapped in. They finished their tour. They're trying to get back to their family on Christmas, and they are thwarted every step along the way. The plane is grounded. They take a train to Paris. They end up in Amsterdam. They hitchhike to Germany. They charter a private plane. They have to the pilot passes out and they have to pilot the plane and they crash it, and then they're chased by wolves. I mean, every step of the way, the Santa Claus is out to get them for some reason. It's very strange. There are wonderful songs. They're new songs that are just rip-roaring crowd pleasers, all new Christmas music, and they really know how to write a song. They really know what they're doing after all these years. Andrea Martin is in it, Laverne Cox, Billy Lord, Will Ferrell, Jesse Tyler Ferguson is Santa Claus, KJ Apa is the hot pilot who passes out and he's naked. He's sending like dick pics to someone. It's very crazy. Kenny G, Justin Tranter, our old friend, makes an appearance in it. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun, and it's just I can't recommend it enough. I just enjoyed it so much. It's on Hulu and Disney Plus, and it like I said, stop what you're doing right now and go and watch it. You don't even have to be Joe Bro fans because you will love them so much. And Nick and Joe, I mean, and Kevin, they're such icons at this point. And
I thought they kind of disappeared. I was like,
no, Fenton, no. I will keep them alive.
They're 20 years in show business. They're nostalgia. They're in the sweet spot for today's,
because they're still very good looking. They're still at the top of their game vocally, and they all have families and kids at this point, and it's just they are the family. It's just their one.
All right, go see it. Go stream it. Number 5.
Number 5.
Sounds like I'm elevating the tone, perhaps, when I talk about the Mariko Aoki phenomena, but actually no. Because do you know what the Mariko Aoki phenomena is?
No.
You might call it book poop. because it is the phenomenon of the sudden urge to poop when you go into
Oh,
a
I know
bookstore.
about this. Yes. I worked at a bookstore, and it is true. People poop at bookstores.
James, you worked at Book Soup, so tell all.
I did. Yes, I worked at Book Poop.
Did Book Soup have a book poop room? I mean,
it did, and like I tell you, it was the place everyone would run in and go and poop immediately they walked in the store.
Did Faye Dunaway go there?
Faye and Courtney Love, yes, everybody went in and pooped at the Book Poop.
all right.
Would they yell at you before they pooped or after they pooped?
they threw the stapler at my face and then went and pooped.
Well, so this is a phenomenon that apparently dates from an essay written in 1985 to the magazine. I can't read the Japanese, but it's called Book Magazine. And she was a 29-year-old woman living in Tokyo. And she said, quote, "I'm not sure why, but since about 2 or 3 years ago, whenever I go into a bookstore, I am struck by an urge to move my bowels." Now, the publisher of the magazine, he thought, well, this is interesting. So he published the letter. It was a short letter. But then when the magazine came out, huge response from readers. And
well, wait, I'm going to take a guess here. There's something about the smell of the book that activates some neurons in your brain. Is that true?
Well, it could be. It's an unproven medical clinical phenomena. I mean, there's a question about whether it's an urban legend or urban myth or not. I actually, of course, went to Wikipedia, and I couldn't believe how long the entry was on this. Somebody went on, and I was like, oh my gosh. So the magazine, the letter was so popular. The next issue of Book Magazine was entirely dedicated to this phenomena. And since then, she's become kind of something of a star. She's totally fine about being out about this and open about it. She says that
she's a fecal phenomena, is what you're saying.
She is. She says
the shit.
She is the shit.
I will get to the end of this if it kills me. She is. The phenomenon occurs completely irrespective of the type of books. It never happens to her in a library or secondhand bookstore, which would point, James, to your thing about books and inks and smell. But here's a controversial fact. Well, not a contradictory factor, is that she works, her job is in a printer's shop. So you would think, and she doesn't have the phenomena at all in the printer's shop. So I don't know. Other studies
smell of the books. Okay.
Other studies show that this is a female bias manifesting phenomena.
Really?
And that it's uncommon in sporty males, which
what if sporty males aren't even in bookstores? So how
there
do
you go. There you go.
That?
And a lot of people have said that they actually have to be in the bookstore an hour or more, which might explain why a lot of people don't complain about having it, because they're never in a bookstore for like an hour, let alone 5 minutes.
And don't a lot of bookstores have coffee shops in them?
Oh, there you go.
This is my input, which is usually, again, tangential. But do you find the closer you get to home, the more you have to poop? Like, I will be like out all day, nothing happens, and then I start getting towards home, park my car, walk to the house, and it's a race. Is that just my old age, or is it just my body?
TMI, Tom.
IMT, James. IMT.
Well, that is book poop. And with that, let's take a break. Blake, do you have a question?
In the vein of my previous question, I'm going to ask, what is the difference between subtitles and closed captioning?
We'll have the answer here on the WoW Report right after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders WoW Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the WoW Report. I'm Fenton here with Blake and James and Tom. Just reminding you to get your tickets to the Drag Race experience in Chicago Black Friday weekend. All right, Blake.
What is the difference between subtitles and closed captioning?
I'm going to say that subtitles is basically when you're just quoting, it's just what people are saying, whereas closed captioning has the actions of people, that what they're doing as well. Tom?
I think subtitles is to translate to another language, and closed captioning is to capture what's being said on the screen.
I think closed captioning is for people with a hearing problem and subtitles are not.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
You're all three kind of right. Yes.
I love when that happens.
When does that ever happen?
Subtitles are for a foreign language, but it can also be like it's just the spoken word.
That's
and
what I thought.
Closed captioning it includes, like music playing in the background stuff. So
I think James was most right.
Yeah, so they close the door. They move. Yeah, they pull up a chair.
James was most right.
Okay. Okay.
I have some good news for people who don't like me on the WoW Report. I've got to go. I'm on the set of a movie that we'll talk about next week, and I'm being called to do something. So Blake is prepared to fill my slot, so to speak. And I will miss you all, and I love you. And I'll just throw this in for the end. Wow.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Truth is, you have to poop, I bet. About a movie.
You'll never, ever know.
Moving on to number 4.
Number 4.
It's been a couple of weeks, but just wanted to go over the Kris Jenner 70th birthday list.
All of these people are potential Drag Race guest judges, so I don't want to say anything. I don't want to besmirch them, but go ahead and name them. I'm going to groan a little bit. Go.
Well, all of her kids, Courtney, Kim, Chloe, but Oprah, Gail, Mariah, Beyonce, Adele, Chris Rock.
I hate Adele.
Jeff and Lauren Bezos, who hosted the party. Mark and Priscilla Zuckerberg. Bill Gates. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Justin and Hailey Bieber. Martha Stewart. Snoop Dogg.
Oh, Snoop can go fart in a fan.
Tyler Perry. Vin Diesel, your old friend.
I love that, yeah.
And then Kathy and Paris.
I do love Kathy and Paris. I do love them. I wanted to just say that Fenton, you had said that you wanted to talk a little bit about Pete Davidson performing in.
Really, but he did perform in Saudi Arabia, didn't he, at that comedy festival?
Which is sort of gross. And I wanted to mention that Keith Urban performed at Mar-a-Lago, and he had the nerve. Did you read this? To sing Pink Pony Club, a gay anthem to Donald Trump.
Well, they've already bastardized, taken, assimilated YMCA. I mean,
but Keith Urban, who Nicole was right to kick him to the curb. I'll tell you that. How dare all of these people? It hurts my heart. I love Pete Davidson. I don't love Keith Urban, but I'm just upset with these people. It's like what we were talking about on Monday with a certain somebody playing, going into the pool at Mar-a-Lago. You cannot go behind enemy lines in 2025. You just can't do this. You make, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Bezos, you can't make them your besties and hang out with them because you want to go on the yacht. Like, ew, no, these people are the enemy. I'm just irritated and angry.
And if you want to find out who James is talking about from Monday, you can check World of Wonders WoW Presents Plus Instagram for the WoW Report
on Mondays. Yes,
I appreciate the one with the miserablest thing, but I cannot imagine anything worse anyway than one of those sort of A-listy gatherings, regardless of the politics. It's like, how can anybody possibly, in a very human sense, pretend to be having a remotely good time? It just feels so
gross. I'm just so irritated with the billionaire cultures. I just despise all of them.
Tax them out of existence.
Yes, exactly. Go fart in a fan. I'll say it once again.
Right. Well, there's a touch of class. Okay, so number 3, James, I think you have the floor.
Number 3.
I've told this story before, how a couple of years ago, I was in an Uber with Siobhan from Bananarama.
Oh, well, here we go. I mean,
we were talking about, I was telling her how
I was just in an Uber with
Siobhan from Bananarama, and I was telling her that I can't remember names anymore. I've gotten to an age where I don't remember names. And she told me, she said, James, she said, she said, names are, it's like a sock drawer. Your brain is like a sock drawer. And at a certain point, the sock drawer is full. And every time you put in new socks, the socks are names. And every time you throw in new names, you have to take out some old socks and throw them away to make room for the new socks. So I saw on TikTok, I saw a way to remember names. Fenton, I want you to do this.
I need this because I cannot remember anyone's. I meet them at a party or something, and I immediately
forget. What they said is that you have a 7-second window to remember their names. Otherwise, the name is gone for good. When you meet at our age, when you meet someone, you have 7 seconds to remember them. And this is how you do it. Okay. You close your eyes. I know it's rude in their presence. You close their eyes and you picture their face, and you write in cursive on their face, on their forehead, you write their name. Jesus. And what happens there is it's 3 centers of your brain are being activated here. You write it in a specific color, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. But what happens is, and I've talked about this before with Daphne Guinness on the podcast.
Oh, darling,
where it goes from your brain down into your arm, into your fingers, into the pen, and then onto the surface. And that is one smooth thing that goes from the brain to the surface. Okay, it's one smooth movement. And whereas if you're typing something, you're lifting your fingers up and you're breaking up that movement. So you always want to think that you're writing, okay? And you put it on their forehead. This is part 2, where you're associating the name on the forehead with the face. The name and the face are on the same place. Okay. And then you write it in a specific color. Fenton, I'm writing your name. One smooth move from my brain to my fingers. Right. Fenton, I'm putting it on your forehead, which reminds me of your face, the name of the face. And then I'm putting it in pink. And that pink is a third thing that activates in your head. The color is a very specific thing that is different from writing. So you are activating the place, the movement from your brain to the surface, and then a color. You've got 3 different things firing at the same time, and that's how you'll remember.
What? I got to try that. I mean, you have to. It sounds like you have to close your eyes for quite a long time when you're meeting someone. Like it's almost like they put you to sleep. You
have to meet them and say, "How do you do?" And then you turn.
If I close my eyes for 7 seconds, I'll fall asleep.
Later, turn back and say, "Yes, I had to fire up some neurons there and explain what you were doing."
You just power down.
They just power and then come back and they're like, "Okay, cyborg."
Oh, I froze. Right. Okay. I'll try that. Thank you very much for that.
But I do want to just say, Fenton, once again, that the idea that when you are typing something, you are lifting your hand from the surface and you're breaking that connection. So you always are more creative when you are writing things down as opposed to typing them in notes.
Okay, well, that's good to know too. Thank you. So that could be, because typing is like sometimes you're just going. Yeah,
you're clack, and you're breaking that continuous.
You're iterating. You're not really thinking.
Well, and if you're James, you're going like this.
And for everyone who's not watching, Blake was just said, hunt and peck is what I do. It's true.
Hunt and peck. All right, let's move on. Number 2. Word of the year. I do love words of the year. This week it's the Cambridge English Dictionary. And do you know what their word of the year is? No, you don't.
Oh, well, wait. Last week it was 6-7, but that was the Webster.
That was some online.
Yeah. Okay, so what is this?
This is the Cambridge English Dictionary. It is parasocial, and parasocial. They've done it because they say the editor says it's because of Taylor Swift, and parasocial describes a one-sided, non-reciprocal relationship in which a person feels a deep connection to a public figure, celebrity, fictional character, influencer that they don't know personally. So there's an illusion of intimacy that can feel very real and formed through the media consumption of the public figure. I mean, it's interesting really, because I would say that parasocial relationships began with movie stars or pop music. I mean, the phenomena has been around forever. The word itself wasn't actually coined, I think, until the early 90s or something.
Well, it sounds like a lot of stalkers.
Well, I think Taylor Swift is seen as the, not pioneer, the leader of parasocial relationships, the way she feeds the Swifties with clues and engages them. So I think that perhaps accounts for that. Other words this year in the Cambridge Dictionary: skibbity, an old favorite.
Skibbity toilet. Yeah.
Delulu, which is nice.
You are all Delulu if you think that I am not
Delulu.
And tradwife. I've never heard tradwife.
Well, tradwife is what we're all dressing as, and we're all taking our cues from what's her name, the Smith girl. Nara Smith, Nara, the TikTok star, Nara Smith, who does the ASMR where she's always cooking and she's always in little, $100,000 prairie outfits. It's all prairie out. You're dressing like a prairie wife, a farmer's wife. It's a traditional wife. You make your bread, you make your clothes, you do you live like you're an Amish housewife from the 19th century.
Okay, well, that's nice to know. I'd never heard of it before. 3 words I just came across that I think should be considered next year: sarcotic, which is so sarcastic it's almost psychotic, which I think describes all of us here. Outrovert, which is not an introvert or an extrovert, but like sort of someone right down the middle. I have one last word that I want to throw out, and this is my favorite word and should be word of the year: incontinent.
Oh, what does that even mean? That's dirty.
It means someone who uses the C word a lot and just uses it all the time. They are incontinent.
I love that one.
All right. Let's take one more break. And when we come back, the number one thing this week that made us go wow.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton here with Blake and James. Tom had to leave early, alas. 2 quick things I do want to say. Wow Presents Plus, Canada's Drag Race Season 6 is now launched on Wow Presents Plus, and Drag Race UK Season 7 is rolling out as well. So make sure you're watching Wow Presents Plus. All right. The number one thing this week is...
Number 1.
I wanted to talk about Walk My Walk, the number 1 country song in America by a guy named Breaking Rust. Have you heard about this? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it?
I do.
Is it IA?
It's an IA superstar. Yeah, the first AI superstar named Breaking Rust has reached the top of the charts. And this is one of those things where it's frankly incredibly terrifying, because people have always been saying AI can't replace artists. There's never going to be an AI singer with soul. There's never going to be an AI writer. There's never going to be AI actors. And by God, they've coming for all of those jobs. It is coming for you. If you don't think AI can take your job, you are absolutely wrong. Blake, you've heard
But on that note, I'm not surprised that the first hit AI song was country song, because if you think about it, the stereotypical country music listener.
Say it, Blake. How are you going to alienate 3/4 of our audience?
Well, I mean, it's a simple song. It's about beer and your tractor and your truck.
It's an easy thing. It is an easy thing to write a country song, to have your program, beer and great heartbreak and all that stuff into it. It is weird because you listen to it and he doesn't take a breath. At no point do you ever hear the symbol, the signs of humanity in it. But it is it's horrible. It's a horrible song, and it reached number 1 because it's a curiosity. It is an oddity. But if you don't think that it is the wave of the future, you are sorely mistaken. That it is the dumbing down of the world, and this is one of the first signs. So
yeah, but also it's not iterated by AI from AI. It's someone like created. It's like a tool, like a camera. Someone took a photograph.
You are not being pro AI here, Fenton, because if you think that AI is going to be taking over Drag Race, and then where will you be? There's going to be an AI Rue and an AI Fenton and an AI Tom and an AI Katya, and it's AI Michelle Visage and Carson Kressley. And then we will all be out of jobs.
Well,
so.
honey, there will never be an AI Jane St. James.
Well, that you can be damn sure. But come on, even you have to be a little worried, Fenton, about the coming revolution.
I'm definitely worried in one sense. I already can't tell as I'm scrolling through Instagram whether things are real or AI. I mean,
well, in fact, I was just going to send you. There was a bunch of pictures of hot skinheads that I was scrolling through and looking at it. And the more I kept looking, I was like, "Oh, these boys are hot. These boys are really hot." And then by the third or fourth picture, I was like, "Wait a minute, these people are not real. They
You
are
were
not."
like, his nose is upside down.
What?
and
Well,
that,
therein lies one of the true tests right there, is when AI porn is better than regular
well,
porn.
I think it already is good. Not that I would know, but I also would say this speaks to the parasocial and why it's the word of the year, because it's relationships. That covers the sort of AI. People are using ChatGPT as therapists, as lovers, companions.
And you know what? We have all been changed for good, and then I've tied this whole thing up in a bow.
Oh, brilliant! It's a masterpiece, James. You must have had some help from AI, I think. All right, I'll do this. Same time, same place next week. Thank you so much for listening. Until then, go out and do something that makes the world go
wow.